Some time ago there lived a king. This king should have been contented with his life, given all the riches and luxuries he had. However, this was not the case. The king always found himself wondering why he just never seemed content with his life. Sure, he had the attention of everyone wherever he went, attended fancy dinners and parties, but somehow he still felt something was lacking and he couldn't put his finger on it. One day the king woke up earlier than usual to stroll around his palace. He entered his huge living room and came to a stop when he heard someone happily singing away. Following this singing, he saw that one of the servants was singing and had a very contented look on his face. This fascinated the king, and he summoned this man to his chambers. The man entered the king's chambers as ordered. The king asked why he was so happy. To this the man replied, "Your Majesty, I am nothing but a servant, but I make enough of a living to keep my wife and children happy. We don't need too much, a roof over our heads and food to fill our tummy. My wife and children are my inspiration. They are content with whatever little I bring home. I am happy because my family is happy." Hearing this, the king related his personal anguish about his feelings and then related the story of the servant to his personal assistant, hoping that somehow he would be able to come up with some reasoning that here was a king who could have anything he wished for at a snap of his fingers and yet was not contented, whereas his servant, having so little, was extremely content. The personal assistant listened attentively and came to a conclusion. He said, "Your Majesty, I believe that the servant has not been made part of the 99 Club." "The 99 Club? And what exactly is that?" the king inquired. To which the assistant replied, "Your Majesty, to truly know what the 99 Club is, you will have to do the following. Place 99 gold coins in a bag and leave it at this servant's doorstep. You will then understand what the 99 Club is." That very same evening, the king arranged for 99 gold coins to be placed in a bag at the servant's doorstep. Although he was slightly hesitant and he thought he should have put 100 gold coins into the bag, but since his assistant had advised him to put 99, that is what he did. The servant was just stepping out of his house when he saw a bag at his doorstep. Wondering about its contents, he took it into his house and opened the bag. When he opened the bag, he let out a great big shout of joy. Gold coins, so many of them. He could hardly believe it. He called his wife to show her the coins. He then took the bag to a table and emptied it out and began to count the coins. Doing so, he realized that there were 99 coins and he thought it was an odd number, so he counted again and again and again, only to come to the same conclusion: 99 gold coins. He began to wonder what could have happened to that last one coin, for no one would leave 99 coins. He began to search his entire house, looked around his backyard for hours, not wanting to lose out on that one coin. Finally, exhausted, he decided that he was going to have to work harder than ever to make up for that one gold coin to make his entire collection and even 100 gold coins. He got up the next morning in an extremely horrible mood, shouting at the children and his wife for his delay, not realizing that he had spent most of the night conjuring ways of working hard so that he had enough money to buy himself that gold coin. He went to work as usual, but not in his usual best mood, singing happily as he grumpily did his daily chores. Seeing the man's attitude change so drastically, the king was puzzled. He promptly summoned his assistant to his chambers. The king related his thoughts about the servant, and once again his assistant listened. The king could not believe that the servant who till yesterday had been singing away and was happy and content with his life had taken a sudden change of attitude, even though he should have been happier after receiving the gold coins. To this the assistant replied, "Ah, but your Majesty, the servant has now officially joined the 99 Club." He explained, "The 99 Club is just a name given to those people who have everything but yet are never content. Therefore, they are always working hard and striving for that extra one to round it out to 100. We have so much to be thankful for, and we can live with very little in our lives. But the minute we are given something bigger and better, we want even more. We are not the same happy, contented person we used to be. We want more and more. And by wanting more and more, we don't realize the price we pay for it. We lose our sleep, our happiness. We hurt the people around us just as a price to pay for our growing needs and desires. That is what joining the 99 Club is all about. Hearing this, the king says,
I am going to appreciate all things in my life. To be content and satisfied with what one has is the greatest boon which one has received.
Which one has received due of the thanks he had been offering to Allah for what he has received from him.
The 4 sons. There was a rich merchant who had 4 sons. He was happy with them, and they had a great connection among them. They lived like a real family, and their family was full of happiness. He loved the 4th son the most and adorned him with rich robes and treated him to delicacies. He took great care of him and gave him nothing but the best. He also loved the 3rd son very much. He was very proud of him and always wanted to show him off to his friends. However, the merchant was always in great fear that he might get spoiled. He also loved his 2nd son. He was a considerate person, always patient, and in fact was the merchant's confidant. Whenever the merchant faced some problems, he always turned to his 2nd son, and he would always help him out and guide him through difficult times. The merchant's 1st son was a very loyal one and had made great contributions in maintaining his wealth and business as well as taking care of the household. However, he loved him deeply. He hardly took notice of him. One day, the merchant fell ill. Before long, he knew that he was going to die soon. He thought of his luxurious life and told himself, "Now I have 4 sons with me, but when I die, I'll be alone. How lonely I'll be." Thus, he asked the 4th son, "I loved you most, endowed you with the finest clothing, and showered great care over you. Now that I'm dying, will you follow me and keep my company?" "No way," replied the 4th son, and he walked away without another word. The answer cut like a sharp knife right into the merchant's heart. The sad merchant then asked the 3rd son, "I have loved you so much, my life. Now that I'm dying, will you follow me and keep me company?" "No," replied the 3rd son. "Life is so good over here. I will be too busy and happy with the rest of the world." The merchant's heart sank and turned cold. He then asked the 2nd son, "I always turn to you for help, and you have always helped me out. Now I need your help again. When I die, will you follow me and keep me company?" "I'm sorry, I can't help you out this time," replied the 2nd son. "At the very most, I can only send you to your grave." The answer came like a bolt of thunder, and the merchant was devastated. Then a voice called out, "I'll be with you. I'll follow you no matter where you go." The merchant looked up, and there was his 1st son. He was so skinny, almost as if he was suffering from malnutrition. Greatly grieved, the merchant said, "I should have taken much better care of you while I could have." Now the merchant understands a life lesson and compare them with our lives. Then he says, "We all have 4 sons in our lives. The 4th son is our body. No matter how much time and effort we lavish in making it look good, it'll leave us when we die. The 3rd son is like our possessions, status and wealth. When we die, they all go to others. The 2nd son is our family and friends. No matter how close they had been there for us when we were alive, the furthest they can stay by us is up to the grave. The 1st son is in fact our deeds, often neglected in our pursuit of material, wealth, and sensual pleasure. Guess what? This is actually the only thing that follows us wherever we go. Perhaps it's a good idea to cultivate and strengthen it now, rather than to wait until we're on our deathbed to lament."
There once lived a rich businessman who had a lazy and fun-loving son. He hated hard work and enjoyed relaxing and playing all day long, but the businessman wanted his son to be hard-working and responsible. He wanted him to realize the value of labor and effort. He didn't want his son to be lazy. One day he called his son and said, "Today, I want you to go out and earn something. If you don't, then you won't have your meals tonight." The boy was callous and cunning and not used to any kind of work. This demand by his father scared him, and he went crying straight to his mother. Her heart melted at the sight of tears in her son's eyes. She grew restless. In a bid to help him, she gave him a gold coin. In the evening, when the father asked his son what he had earned, the son promptly presented him with the gold coin, thinking that the father would think that the boy had earned the money from doing some work. But the father asked the boy to throw the gold coin into a well. So the son did as he was told. The father was a man of wisdom and experience and guessed that the coin was given to him by the boy's mother. The next day, he sent his wife to her parents' town and asked his son to go and earn something with the threat of being denied the night meals if he failed. This time, he went crying to his sister, who sympathized with him and gave him a rupee out of her own savings. When his father asked him what he had earned, the boy showed the money that his sister had given him. The father again asked him to throw it in a well. The son did it quite readily. Again, the father's wisdom told him that the coin was not earned by his son. He then sent his daughter to her in-law's house. He again asked his son to go out and earn, with the threat that he shall not have anything for dinner that night. But this time, since there was no one to help him out, the son was forced to go to the market in search of work. One of the shopkeepers there told him that he would pay him 2 rupees if he carried his trunk to his house. The rich man's son could not refuse, and was drenched in sweat by the time he finished the job. His feet were trembling and his neck and back were aching. There were even rashes on his back. As he returned home and produced the $2 note before his father and was asked to throw it into the well, the horrified son almost cried out. He could not imagine throwing away his hard-earned money like this. Sobbing, he said, "Baba, my entire body is aching, my back has rashes, and you are asking me to throw this money into the wall." At this, the old man smiled. He told him that a person feels the pain only when the fruits of hard labor are wasted. On earlier 2 occasions, he was helped by his mother and sister, and therefore had no pain in throwing the coins into the well. The son had by then realized the value of hard work. He vowed never to be lazy and would look after his father's wealth. The father handed the keys of his shop over to the son and promised to guide and help him the rest of his life.
Abbas, son of Khalifa Harun-ur-Rashid, in his youth adored to talk and listen to pious religious people. He would visit graveyards frequently and was very cautious of his doings. Once, when his father was talking with his ministers and officers, the boy came up to them wearing only 2 pieces of cloth, one around his waist and the other on his head. The men looked at him. They did not like to see a prince dressed this way. They thought that it was not right for a king's son to dress in such a poor manner. "This boy is very bad. He upsets his father. He should dress properly so that the king may be proud of him when other kings come to see him," they said. When the king asked his son to dress in rich clothes, the boy did not answer but decided to show them a wonder, karama, something Allah made easy for him to do, because of his intense love for Allah. He looked around, and seeing a bird a long way off, he called it to his side. The bird flew onto the boy's hand. He then told the bird to fly away, and it did so. Having shown everyone what Allah could make him through his will, he turned to his father and told him that he wore shabby clothes, because if he loved Allah, such earthly things were not important, and that he was sad because his father seemed to love the world more than Allah.
Soon the boy knew it was time to leave his father's court and serve Allah alone. He took with him a copy of the glorious Quran and a precious ring, which his mother gave him to make use of if he ever needed any money. When the prince reached Basra, he worked as a laborer for 1 day in the week and took only enough money to last him a week. At this time Abu Amr Basri, a learned man and a mystic of repute, was looking for a builder to mend a wall which had fallen down. Suddenly he saw a handsome youth busy reciting words from the glorious Quran. He asked the boy if he would do the job. The boy said, "I will do the job, but I want only a small sum of money to last a week, and I must stop working at the times of Salah." Abu Amr agreed to this, and the youth started to work. By the end of the day, Abu Amr noticed that the boy had done the work of 10 men. He paid him his wages, minimal, as requested by the boy. To his surprise, the boy did not come the next day. As he was so pleased with his work, Abu Amr set out to look for him, but could not find him until the next week at the same time and in the same place that he had seen him before. The boy again asked for the same small sum of money and time off for Salah, and carried on building the wall. At the end of the day, Abu Amr gave the boy more money than he had asked for, but the boy would not take more than what would last him a week. Abu Amr waited until the next week for the youth to come for work. He did not come and was nowhere to be found. Abu Amr looked all over for him. He told his story in the following words: "I asked all and sundry. At last a man told me that the boy had been ill and lay unconscious in the forest. I paid a man to take me to him. When I reached the place, the boy was lying on the ground, resting his head on a stone. I spoke to him, but he did not answer. I greeted him again, and this time he opened his eyes. He recognized me at once. I lifted his head and put it in my lap. He raised his head and spoke some verses reminding everyone about death and warned against people who were greedy for worldly goods." After that, Abu Amr Basri narrates the whole incident that happened. Abbas asked me to bathe him and bury him in one of his garments, to give the other piece of cloth and his wudhu cup to the man who would dig his grave, and to take the glorious Quran and the ring to Harun-ur-Rashid personally, and to tell him, "These are your things. They belong to your son. Make sure you do as Allah wishes." With that, the boy died. Only then did I realize that the boy was the prince. I buried him there as he had asked and took the ring to the king in Baghdad. I stood on a high mound near the palace and saw a troop of horsemen riding out from the palace. When I saw him, I shouted at the top of my voice. The king stopped, and I showed him the things that his son had left. He recognized them, and so I was able to tell him all I could about his son. Tears rolled down his cheeks as I spoke. He ordered one of his guards to look after me until he returned from his royal visit. When I saw the king again, he was very sad indeed. He asked me how I came to know his son. He was very shocked to hear that his son, a prince, wished to work as a laborer and for enough money to last him only a week. I said that I had not known that he was the king's son and a Sayyid, the descendant of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. The king asked me if I had bathed his son with my own hands. One told him that I had, and he took my hands and pressed them to his heart, as he said some couplets, which showed his great sadness. He also visited the grave and recited more couplets, which told of the fact that death must come to everyone. Later, Abu Amar Basri dreamt of the departed soul of this boy, which told him of his great joy in paradise, where he found happiness beyond the realms of human thought or imagination. Akbar was a Mughal king of India. Many regard him as clever, bold, and shower praises on him. One of his ministers, Birbil, is often regarded as foolish. However, the facts are quite different. Akbar was not a very clever person. He was not even fit to be a king. So, we will see in this story. Emperor Akbar asked Birbil one day this famous saying that it is difficult to fulfill the demands of three persons, a king's, a lady's, and a child's. I fail to understand. I accept that a king or lady might ask for something which is difficult to fulfill, but a child, I mean, what could a child possibly ask for which could not be fulfilled? Birbil replied, the reality is that a child's obstinacy is the most difficult, requiring great wisdom, which is not possible for everybody. Akbar, what need is there for wisdom? Anybody could fulfill a child's demand. Birbil, very well, I shall behave like a child. You fulfill my tantrums. Akbar, okay. Consequently, Birbil began to sob like a child. These sort of foolish behavior was common in Akbar's court. Akbar asked, why are you crying? Birbil replied, I want an elephant. Immediately, Akbar ordered an elephant from the royal stables and stated, Subhanallah, what difficult task did you request? Birbil started crying again. Why are you crying now? Asked Akbar. I want a small pot, replied Birbil. Instantly, Akbar ordered a pot from the bazaar and commented, what was so difficult about this then? Again, Birbil began to cry. What's up now? Asked Akbar. Place the elephant into the pot, cried Birbil. Dumbfounded, Akbar now realized how difficult it is to fulfill a child's tantrums. Puzzled, Akbar commented, you added that only a wise person could fulfill a child's obstinacy. Well, how is that possible? Birbil replied, if intelligence is present, everything is easy. Akbar added, very well, now I shall behave like a child and you fulfill my demands. Accordingly, Akbar began to sob like a child. Why do you cry? Asked Birbil. I want an elephant. Birbil dispatched a servant to the market to purchase a toy elephant. This was presented to Akbar. He started wailing again. Birbil asked, why are you crying now? Akbar replied, I want a pot. Birbil arranged for a pot to be presented. Akbar cried again. What's up now? Asked Birbil. Put the elephant into the pot, screamed Akbar. Birbil obliged by placing the toy elephant into the pot. Akbar was now silenced. Birbil commented, you displayed misjudgment in fulfilling the child's demand for an elephant by ordering a real animal from the stables. What you should do is fulfill a child's demands in accordance with what is appropriate for him or her.
An emperor from the Far East was growing old and knew it was time to choose his successor. Instead of choosing one of his assistants or his children, he decided something different. He called all the young people in the kingdom one day. He said,
It is time for me to step down and choose the next emperor. I have decided to choose one of you.
The kids were shocked, but the emperor continued.
I am going to give each one of you a seed today, a very special seed. I want you to plant the seed, water it, and come back here 1 year from today with whatever you have grown from this one seed. I will then judge the plants that you bring, and the one I choose will be the next emperor.
one boy named Lin was there that day, and he, like the others, received a seed.
Take care of the seeds.
He went home and excitedly told his mother the whole story. She helped him get a pot and planting soil, and he planted the seed and watered it carefully.
It's my responsibility now to keep the Emperor's promise. I'll nourish it with the best possible way.
Every day he would water it and waited for it to grow. After about 3 weeks, some of the other youths began to talk about their seeds and the plants that were beginning to grow.
The other seeds must be sprouted. Where is my one?
Ling kept checking his seed, but nothing ever grew. 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks went by, but still nothing. By now, others were talking about their plants, but Ling didn't have a plant, and he felt like a failure. 6 months went by, still nothing grew in Ling's pot. He thought he had killed his seed.
I might kill the seed. How I meet the Emperor? What can I say in front of him?
Everyone else had trees and tall plants, but he had nothing. However, Ling didn't say anything to his friends. He just kept waiting for his seed to grow. Finally, the year ended, and all the youths of the kingdom brought their plants to the Emperor for inspection. Ling told his mother that he wouldn't go because of the empty pot, but his mother insisted him to go. Being honest about what happened, Ling felt sick to his stomach, but he knew his mother was right. He took his empty pot to the palace.
You're right, Mother. I will go to the palace with my empty pot, because honesty is the best policy.
When Ling arrived, he was amazed at the variety of plants grown by the other youths. They were beautiful and in all shapes and sizes. Ling put his empty pot on the floor and the other kids laughed at him. A few felt sorry for him and just said, "Nice try, young boy."
My! What great plants, trees, and flowers you have grown. Today, one of you will be appointed the next emperor.
When the emperor arrived, he surveyed the room and greeted the young people. Ling just tried to hide in the back. All of a sudden, the emperor spotted Ling at the back of the room with his empty pot.
Who is hiding there? Guards, bring him here! What is your name, boy?
My name is Ling.
The emperor asked everyone to quieten down. He looked at Ling and then announced,
Behold your new emperor. His name is Ling.
How I could be the new Emperor? I don't even grow the seed. How?
Then the emperor said,
1 year ago from today, I gave everyone present here a seed. I told you to take the seed, plant it, water it, and bring it back to me today. But I gave you all boiled seeds that would not grow. All of you, except Ling and Flowers. When you found that the seed not grow, you substituted another seed for the one I gave you. Ling was the only one with the courage and honesty to bring me a pot with my seed in it. Therefore, he is the one who will be the new emperor.
Now, what have we learned from the story? First, be honest every time. Second, be happy with what you have. And third, always listen to your parents.
James was a very wealthy man. He was so rich that he had big houses with lawns, swimming pools, tennis courts, and garages in it. But unlike common perception about the wealthy people, he was nice. He did not cheat people, he did not lie, and he never made an unfair deal. He also gave huge amounts of money in charity. James had only one child, Jenny. Since she was his only child, she got a lot of attention and care from him and everybody else. Sometimes too much love and care spoils kids. But this was not the case with James's daughter, Jenny. She was also very good and kind to others like her father. Jenny was also a very neat and clean girl. She used to bathe every day in the morning, and she used to wash her hands before and after every meal. She was also very pious and offered her prayers. The best thing about Jenny was that she never made fuss about food. She would not cry and misbehave badly over food. In fact, even though her father, James, could afford to give her the best, delicious dishes 3 times daily, she would eat vegetables and boiled food also without making a bad face. She would thank the Almighty God for whatever she got and say,
There are many people who are starving for getting nothing to eat and sleep hungry at night.
But there was one little problem. Jenny would not eat bananas. Somehow, whenever she looked at a banana, she felt like vomiting. At first, her father, James, thought that she had some sort of allergy. He took her to the best doctors, but all they said was that they hadn't seen a kid with better health than Jenny. They told him that she was not allergic to anything. However, this little problem sometimes created bigger problems at the table. Other people loved bananas, so whenever it was kept on the table, she would not even look at it. Since everyone cared a lot for Jenny, they avoided eating and bringing bananas home.
My dear child, we have noticed that you don't like bananas. Can you please tell me what the problem is?
Papa, I am sorry to cause so much inconvenience to you and others. The problem is that when I see the black spots on the banana, I feel like vomiting. I mean, how can we eat something that is rotten? Papa, you know very well that I even eat boiled vegetables, but do you expect me to eat rotten food? Oh, such a small problem.
Okay, dear. I will bring a spotless banana for you today. Then when you have tasted it, I will tell you something that you do not know.
Thank you, Papa. May God bless you. You care so much for me.
That day, Jenny was given a spotless banana. Yes, a banana that was totally yellow, with a little shade of green on the top and the bottom. She peeled the skin and looked in amazement at a pure, milky, white fruit. Obviously, this was the first time she had seen a banana completely white from the inside. She ate it.
What did the banana taste like, my dear?
Papa, it looked great, but it did not taste good. It was sort of, tasteless.
Okay, Jenny, now try this spotted banana and tell me how does it taste.
Jenny took it reluctantly. She peeled the skin and looked inside. It was a bit softer than the spotless one, and it had blackish spots here and there. Although she did not feel like eating it, but she was very curious to know what her father wanted to tell her that she had not known, so she ate it.
Which one is better?
The spotted one looked partially rotten, but it tasted better, Papa.
This is exactly what I wanted to tell you, Jenny. Never judge a book by its cover. Just like the banana, you will not like everything and everyone, but you must like them overall. People and fruits are sweet and good. If you keep looking at a person's bad habits, you will never be able to find a friend. Because no one is spotless.
I'll remember that.
If someone has faults but is overall good, you should be friends with that person. A friend is a person who thinks you are a good egg.
Even though slightly cracked.